This is my ride.
Big Mama Wanda.
My vessel for freedom.
This is Rasta Shasta.
And this is my bus Blue.
Don't make it perfect. Don't care about that as much. I think the journey is more important than a perfect rig.
Hi, I'm Emily, and this is my bus Blue. She's a 2010 Chevy 6.0 4500 gas engine. Let's take a look. So my favorite feature, actually, and I think the thing that everybody sees all the time is like this live edge thing, and everyone stops me on the road and they're like, oh my gosh, I love your live edge. I'm like, yeah, believe it or not, it's a table. So it's a cedar live edge. I did it myself. And it actually ends up being an entryway table as well as an outdoor bar, which is super nice. And then we did paint it, and it was yellow when I got it, and then I painstakingly 3 days sanded the entire bus and then we spray painted it. I had to build a paint booth off of a $100 Amazon party tent, and that's how we ended up doing that. So that was fun. And then the garage might be a little hard to get to, but we can try. So I have the side door, which is really handy when there's not someone parked next to me. But I have too many boards in there. I've got a surfboard, a snowboard, paddleboard, a dog, and but yeah, so it's kind of extremely crowded, but we've got all of our electrical stuff over there, batteries in the back. I have 800 amp hours of battery and 1,000 watts of solar on the roof. So I'm pretty much never hurting for power, which is really nice. And then I have my e-bike, which is super nice. It becomes my car, super handy. And then we did do propane, so we've got 2 cylinders on the back. Probably not RV friendly, but we go with it. So I've got our hot water heater. So it's a 10-gallon hot water heater, and I'm so glad I went with the tank, because everyone's like, get the instant. I'm like, nope, tank's the way to go. I have a 30 amp hookup and water fill, so it's all pressurized, and there's filters like in here, so I don't have any sort of gravity fill, but it's kind of nice because it's double filtered here and inside. So I've got an outdoor shower hook, so it's really nice. I can put this window down and it can come out here and hook, and I can have an outdoor shower, and it also reaches the ground, so I can hose off my dog, which is super convenient. So you can come on in. Oh, okay, Brian, we're coming back in. So this is my entryway area. I've got my dog stuff. I built this specifically for Brian, my dog, and it also obviously acts as a shoe holder. And then I've got storage in here, which is really clutch, and all of my stuff fits, my chairs fit in there. You wanna come up? See, so it's like perfect size for him. He likes to lay here and put his head on the dash when we drive so you can see what's going on. And then I have my bookshelves that I was like a non-negotiable. This was really cool because it was actually part of the bus, and so when we like kind of started ripping into it, it had like these little channels. I was like, that's like automatic junk storage, but it's really convenient for junk storage. Then this is our map. So I have 3 different like years. I've been on the road for 2 years now, so it's like 3 different trips kind of. So like the first year was orange, second year was blue, third year now is pink, and we're here, so that's super cool. And then here I've got some storage as well, which is really nice. It's kind of my junk cabinet. And then under here is also storage, which is super handy, so I keep all my jackets and stuff up there. I didn't know what I was gonna do with that space, but we definitely found a way to fill it, which is how it goes. So this is my bathroom. It is massive. I didn't choose it to be this massive, but it happens to fit, and it's kind of nice to have a really big bathroom. And then it's all marbled epoxy, so I did pourable epoxy. We built the shower stall, disassembled it, and then I laid it on tables, and I did each piece individually with a dirty pour of epoxy, which gives it this beautiful marble effect. I have a separate toilet. It's a compost toilet versus a composting, so I don't have to deal with coconut coir because that's kind of annoying. So that I love my toilet. It works so good. And then actually this shower pan is from Our Way to Rome. They did custom shower pans, so that came in really handy. So I've got my closet here with my full-length mirror, which is super nice. It's kind of a mess, but that's how it goes. All of Brian's stuff is down here, which leads to his water and food bowl, which is super nice because it is on a drawer slide. So when I don't have when he's not eating, he only eats twice a day, so it's nice. I don't have to have it out all the time. And if I do leave it out, I definitely kick it too much, so. Then this is my beautiful plant wall. I recently lost a lot of plants because they took them from me at Burning Man, which was really sad, but I snuck in a couple. And then I've got my little like workstation here, which is really nice. So this is a charging station for my laptop. And then this obviously holds like little things that I need for my work and everything. The couch is one of my favorite things. It is a convertible dinette L couch, but guest bed, U couch, like it does all the things. So it's super nice. I usually have it in L couch mode because I work right here with a lagoon table, but it gives me more space when it's just in full couch mode. And then the dinette is really nice too. So the table's here and it just pops up, and that's acacia wood, which is super pretty. I got this lamp in Tulum, Mexico, so obsessed with that. And then my fun bookshelf, junk drawer, camera holder, everything. I did put a skylight in and I absolutely love it. I put this film on it and it gives me rainbows, which is really pretty. But I did have it open at first and it leaked, and so eventually we just said, screw it, doesn't need to open, had to close it off, and haven't had a leak since. So definitely learned my lesson there. If we want to come into kind of the bedroom area, I love that there's like tons of storage. So this is storage. I use it a lot of for my window covers on the ones that don't have curtains, which is really nice. And then since this is convertible, this pulls out and there is storage underneath both of these, which is really nice. I also have a little bit of storage here for extra screens and also window covers, and then clothing storage, of course. My drawers are too full because I have way too many clothes to be living in a van. Then I have my headboard back here, and it's got like a headboard with like a bunch of storage in it on either side, and then the middle one is a laundry chute to a laundry bag, even though I still just have to lift it up out of it, but it still is great because my laundry is nice and put away and not seen. So I have some extra storage, but I kind of have to do weird things to get to it. But this is the stuff I don't need all the time / winter storage. And it is on struts, so it does stay up, which is super nice because that's like 500 pounds, it feels like. But yeah, so I got all my winter clothes, costumes, random stuff, watercolor, random things you don't really need all the time, but it's super nice because I have extra storage. I'm really proud of this back wall here. Those were cut with a Cricut cutter. They're super, super thin veneer, and I designed that. And then I've got my cameras and my arches, so I designed the whole thing. I really wanted to incorporate arches. And my new painting, there used to be a plant there, but then I painted that yesterday at Northwest Nomads. So I had to put it up. And it's really nice to have this side door here, especially like on the beach. I like to open it, and that's my lay in bed fan shot kind of situation since I'm not in a van. So I have kick drawers underneath all of my cabinets, which is really nice. So I've got them along all of there. So to move on to the kitchen, this is one of my favorite things that I built and designed is my pantry. It holds a lot of food and I love it. I always think I'm not gonna have enough space for my food, and I always do because of this. So it's super nice. And then we have upper cabinet. So I had to have a Vitamix. That was like my non-negotiable. I was like, I don't care if I'm living in a bus, so we had to have enough power. It really doesn't take that much power. I have my 3-burner stove with an oven, which is super, super nice. And my pots and pans drawer. This was IKEA. It was a lot easier just to do IKEA. So that way I have the double drawer, super convenient. Another non-negotiable, the reason I had to have the blender was for smoothies. So I had to have a freezer. So I do have a fridge and a freezer side by side, and it's amazing. And it's magnetic because most van fridges are not magnetic, so I can put magnets on it, which is awesome. One of my favorite things that I did was build, like, I wanted to have my knives and stuff in a block, like on the counter, but I couldn't really do that with this countertop. So I did this kind of like removable box, which is super nice. And it's so convenient for holding my utensils that I use on the daily. I can have an excess amount of wooden spoons because that's what I need. And my knives, which is super, super nice to have them just right there. I also have real glass wine glasses, which is huge and everybody's amazed. And this is how I do it, where it just stays, and I have little Velcro strips that hold them in. So on the road, they can move around as much as they want and nothing ever happens to them, which is amazing. And then with this countertop, it is a deep pour river epoxy countertop. I didn't really want it to be like blue or like any crazy color. I wanted it to kind of look like one solid piece of wood. So we did have them do kind of like a sparkly brown, which is kind of nice. So it looks natural, but it's also like gives it a little element of cool, like not just wood. So love that. So I actually really love my sink. It's special. So I've got this obviously removable cutting board to hide my dirty dishes when they are in there. And then this is like the best faucet. Every single person who lives in a van needs this because it saves me so much water. And then I also have my drinking water faucet, which is really nice. So there is another filter there. So I've got the 2 filters when I fill, plus the water droplet filter here. So it's triple filtered. I've never had a problem drinking it. It has always tasted so good too, which is awesome. And then I've got 100 gallons of water, 80 gallons of fresh water in the tanks, so 90 gallons actually, and then 10 gallons in the hot water tank. So it's kind of nice. It gives me like an extra 10 gallons. And then we have an accumulator tank, which is really nice. So I can run it for a while because it's like a 2-gallon accumulator and the pump won't kick on, which is amazing because I hate just listening to bleh all the time. And then tons of counter space for me to cook because I love to cook. So I wanted a really nice kitchen so that way I could host people and cook. So I've got a big dinette to host people at and a nice big kitchen to cook dinner for them at. I also have lights for my speakers, which go all the way around the bus, which is super fun. Radio is actually on the car battery still, but it's on a switch, so I can turn it off and on even if I'm parked. The reason I did that is because I'm like, I don't want to drive for like 12, 13 hours and then have it be on the house battery because I don't have it charging while I'm driving, unfortunately. Whereas like this is fine, but it does have the CarPlay, which is super nice. And I have left this on for multiple days and not driven my bus, and I've never drained my bus battery, so I don't have an issue with it. I'm glad that I did that. And then I've got this lovely noise canceling thing. I don't know if you know anything about buses, but they have this noise canceling thing for when they go over railroad tracks. It turns off like the AC and everything, but it's in a really bad position because Brian likes to sit here and turn it off while I'm driving. And then I'm like, why is it really hot? But yeah, so that's my like kind of control panel area, which is pretty nice. We kind of like customized it. And had to go through it and everything. And then I've got a cup holder here, and like this becomes like my snack table when I'm driving, which is super nice. So yeah, and then Brian sits up here and keeps me company. Well, thanks for coming to my tour. I built my home just so I could travel the country and photograph elopements. So that's what I'm doing now. And I couldn't think of a more cozy, amazing home to do it in. So thank you for joining me.